Hello there, thank you for staying with us and welcome to another edition of Channels Beam. I'm Victor Matthias. Now, digital currency value made a fall and that got traders all over the world thinking. This wouldn't be the first time the crypto market is experiencing an early plummet in value. In previous years, bearish seasons are usually succeeded by bullish times. We hope that happens now. But traders and players are looking to hold on to their coins, probably stake it further as they await the next bullish season, while others have pulled out of the trade entirely, and that will be our focus on the show today. But before we get into all of that, let's first see what made the headlines in the social cyberspace in the past week.
A cross-section of Nigerians have expressed disappointment over the arrest of Governor Dapo Abiodun's aide, Abidemi Rufai, for alleged fraud in the United States. Mr. Rufai was reported to have used the identities of more than 100 Washington residents to steal more than $350,000 in unemployment benefits from the Washington State Employment Security Department during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Nigerians couldn't hold back their emotions as a plane carrying the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, crashed in Kaduna State, killing the former Army Chief and other officers on board the Nigeria Air Force plane. Many, including President Muhammadu Buhari, praised his professionalism while in office and prayed for the repose of his soul. There were a series of reactions and concerns following claims of heavy fighting between Boko Haram and the Islamic State in the West African province, ISWAP, which led to the death of Boko Haram's leader, Abubakar Shekau. Though Shekau has been reportedly killed a few times before now, some Nigerians say that both terrorist groups should continue fighting to reduce the burden on Nigerian troops, while others say the confrontation portends graver danger for the country.
Well, there you go. Those were some of the trends in the past week. Well, you can be a part of the program as we kickstarted now. You can be a part of it from wherever you're watching around the world. Just tweet at us at Channels TV, at Channels Beam, at Vector_MBIDI. You can use the hashtag Channels Beam. Well, joining us now to look at this topic, we have Mobolaji Onibudo. He is an information systems consultant, a software development expert, and an information security expert, and he is also the CEO of ZenBit. He joins us via Zoom from Lagos. Bolaji, it's a pleasure to have you on the program today.
Good afternoon, Victor. It's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for having me.
Same here, same here. All right, so kickstart this conversation for us. We've seen perhaps, 30 to 40% dip, in the crypto market. What is going on?
Well, it was expected every time we see a significant rally like that, rise in the value of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, we can expect a correction. And of course, the correction in the crypto space is not comparable to that of the regular capital market. In crypto, we can expect 30 to 40% correction. And this has happened over the years, since the 11th year now that Bitcoin has been around. We've had similar correction as early back as December 2017. And before that, it was around June 2016. And so on and so. So every 1 year to 2 years, we'll see that kind of correction. But if you look at the chart over the 10-year space, you realize that Bitcoin's trend has been upwards, regardless of this periodic correction. Of course, once you take note of them, some investors want to come in when these corrections happen. They want to take advantage, and some are obviously nervous. And one thing you have to always bear in mind in cryptocurrency, there's a lot of volatility, and that's because the price discovery of crypto assets is not as stable as that of other assets like bonds, equities, and so on in the capital markets. But nonetheless, the 10-year compounded annual growth rate for Bitcoin still surpasses any other class of assets, be it gold, which is at 1.97, be it the S&P 500, which is 11 to 22%, the NASDAQ Composite, which is about 16.94, the U.S. Treasury, 4.5%. Even Tesla stocks has been way better than most of these other assets, is at 63%, while Bitcoin 10-year compounded annual growth rate is 196%. No other asset performs like Bitcoin. So it's nothing really to worry about. It's, to me, more of a buying opportunity. But of course, you want to also buy even when it's high, because you want a dollar cost average. You want to have that as a strategy. So really, as you can see, over the years, Bitcoin would always have this correction periodically. But if you look at the chart, it's just upwards. And, the 10-year compounded annual growth rate also indicates clearly it's an asset to own for the long term.
All right. So earlier on, there had been concerns, being raised by the CBN as to how would I put it now? Is it the efficacy or the value of Bitcoin, of cryptocurrency, actually, generally? And there's been a back and forth, here and there, regulations here, regulations there, trying to make the market, trying to understand the market first before giving it an endorsement, so to speak. Now, if you look at now what's happening in China and even in the U.S., I mean, we're hearing that the governments are kind of having second thoughts about this market. Would you now say that the CBN has been correct all along?
I wouldn't say so. We've designed our economic and government system based on the presidential system of America. We've adopted a lot of their policies, a lot of their models and agencies, including the Security and Exchange Commission, which is almost a mirror image of what we have in the U.S. So we follow the West when it comes to capital markets, free markets, and so on. We do not follow, China, or which predominantly is really, sort of like the market is not really a free market in comparison to that of the U.S. And if we really want growth, we need a free market. As you know, in many sectors here also, the World Bank and the IMF always advise the CBN that they should have a free floating market for cryptocurrency, for forex. That is the U.S. dollar, the British coin, and so on. So the forex market needs to be free, and also that of the capital market as well as the crypto market.
So moving forward now, when do you think we would begin to see a rise in the value of the stocks or the coins in this respect? Of course, coins.
Well, obviously, government policy, things like the U.S. Federal Reserve decision on interest rates, the President Biden's policy on capital gains is made mention on some changes. Investors are expecting that to go up. So the dust just needs to settle with all of these things that are in the pipeline. But as you know, water will always find its level. And as the demand and usage of cryptocurrency increases, so will the value go up, like every other asset class, whether it's real estate. As demand goes up, the value goes up. And the value of stocks as companies grow, the same way with cryptocurrencies, as usage increases and more awareness is more. So you can begin to see growth. But in terms of going back to the 50s and the 60,000s, I think, when we could see a return really quickly, or it could be medium term. But like I said, crypto investments are more medium to long term investments, where you want to put maybe 5% of your portfolio value in crypto and ensure that it's not funds you're going to need very soon. So that you're not forced to sell at a dip or at a market correction when you need the money. So you want to look at a year to 2 years where you're relaxed and you look for the right time to exit the market.
All right. Let me just hold you there for a bit and quickly introduce Philip Obeng. He is a digital currency expert and also the technical advisor on new media to the vice president. Philip also joins us via Zoom from Abuja. It's a pleasure to have you on the program, Philip.
Yeah, good to be here once again.
Indeed. Well, so much has been going on in this digital currency space. Of course, one of the things happening now is that the U.S. and the Chinese governments are trying to establish or set up e-currencies, so now an e-dollar and also an e-yuan. Do you see that as a threat to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies?
Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that China, by a population, controls every market they venture into. However, Bitcoin particularly, we seem to focus more on Bitcoin. There are over 9,000 coins of cryptocurrencies in the market today. Even while we are having the challenge that I speak to you, some coins are doing fairly better than Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin affects the market largely, positively or negatively, whenever something happens. However, I don't think that that's the Chinese long run.
All right, Philip, we're having a little bit of challenge. We're having a little bit of challenge getting to hear you. I think your internet is kind of dragging, perhaps because you are on the move. But we'll take a break, and of course, when we return, we still have with us Bolaji, and also we'll get to hear more from Philip. But stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. We still have with us our panelists joining us via Zoom from Lagos and Abuja. But just before we went on break, Philip Obeng, who is the technical advisor on new media to the vice president, was speaking a little bit on the threat or the supposed threat that the e-dollar and e-yuan poses to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Philip, if you just before we went on the break, you said it poses a threat and it doesn't pose a threat. So if you could, expatiate on that particular comment.
Okay, yeah, I was saying so because given the China population, whatever business or whatever interest they go into, they can affect that interest with their population. But in the case of cryptocurrency, the Chinese population will have limited effect or impact on the cryptocurrency. It's a function of time. In the next few weeks, you will see that the market will pick up again. One of the challenges in the cryptocurrency world is that a lot of people go into the business, they start buying and selling, investing without really taking the time to learn the dynamics that are involved in the course of this business. So they come in with the I have I want to make $1 million, I want to make $1 million naira within a short time. And so they are not prepared for what other business. No business that doesn't have time to time, these things happen. And again, what the Chinese government has done, or the new certainly, is not different from what the CBN had done, from what other or central banks are doing across the world. Central banks or reserve banks are not very comfortable with cryptocurrencies, and the reason their fears are valid to some point. For example, cryptocurrencies as things are assets you can hold without KYC. In other words, you don't necessarily have to tender your ID card, your address, or proof of how you got your funds to actually buy and trade cryptocurrency. Now, this poses a threat in the sense the world currently is battling with such don't control measures. This can further help or worsen the situation the world is in today. So why those fears are valid? What some of us think is that we cannot completely stop currency. Are we connected?
Yes, we are.
Okay, we cannot completely stop cryptocurrencies. What we can do is to strike a balance in between, find some form of regulation. But then that is also another challenge. Most people are coming into the cryptocurrency world because they see it as an unregulated market. They see it as a market that is not influenced by politics, as a market that's not influenced by international politics or diplomacy. And so if you put all of this into consideration, you see that the cryptocurrency is passing through a phase that must really be looked into if we must strike a balance.
Let's hope that balance is struck soon as well. But I have to say thank you, Philip, for joining us on the program today. But let me quickly come back to Bolaji. Bolaji, looking at this balance that needs to be struck in between, and also, he also, talked about the threat that the supposed E1 and E-dollars will pose to crypto market. What are your thoughts on that, and what balance do you think should be struck, if any? Of course.
I don't think that there will be a major change or impact on the market because you already have stable coins like the USD Tether, the USDC, which is issued by a company known as Circle, backed by Goldman Sachs in the US. And this stable coins basically are pegged to the dollar and they are backed by a dollar. So one USDC is as good as $1. So there are many companies, many companies offering stable coins, including a bank in Canada, which is launching their stable coin. So really whether government is then providing a blockchain powered fiat currency, because that's really what it is. It's still the same currency, but it's no longer in paper, but now represented on the blockchain. It doesn't really change anything. It doesn't change the interest and the opportunity with cryptocurrencies, which are deflationary by design, meaning that the more people adopt them, the more the value goes up. So by introducing fiat currency in the digital form using blockchain to create stable coins or central bank digital currencies, you're only just going to create more awareness and more adoption of cryptocurrency. So It's a plus as far as I'm concerned.
Well, a plus you say it is. Let's hope that, of course, the market rebounds and that plus is seen in real value, of course, in coins and all of that. But I have to say thank you for joining us today and sharing your thoughts, Bolaji Onibudo.
Thank you very much, as always.
Of course, you're welcome. Yep. We'll keep tracking the developments in that space, but while we wait for things to come back to normal or bounce back to life in that sector, let's take a look at the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel in the past week.
We kick off this week's top 5 videos with a video from 2018 where a tanker exploded on the Otedola Bridge in Lagos. It is followed by the video of an eyewitness account of how a Nigerian Air Force pilot avoided a residential area before crashing in a village near the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja.
The pilot was struggling. He was struggling. He was coming from this side. I thought he just take off from airport. I think as he was coming, he just drove down. He tried to come up again. In fact, it's a merciful pilot. I saw it as he was going down. As he was going down, he struggled to go back to the airport. By the end of the day, just crashed down. I saw it when the plane explodes.
Third spot is the burial of the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Matahiru, and 8 other officers who were involved in the military plane that crashed at Kaduna Airport. In second place is a Channels Television report on the life and times of the late Chief of Army Staff. And in first is a compilation of the late Chief of Army Staff's moments at the Theatre Command Center in Maiduguri after his death was announced.
And there you go. Those were the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. And also, that's where we wrap it up on the show this week. Thank you for watching. I'm Victor Matthias.